History is filled with strange and unsettling mysteries, cases that defy logic and leave unanswered questions that still linger in the present day. Today we explore 3 haunting disappearances that have baffled investigators, puzzled the public, and left families desperately searching for answers. These are stories of unexplained events that refuse to fade into the past. It was Christmas Eve, 1945, in the small town of Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jenny Sodder were settling in for a quiet night with their 10 children. But as the clock struck midnight, an inferno engulfed their home, ravaging everything in its path. Firefighters arrived to find the house completely destroyed, but the worst part? 5 of the Sodder children, who had been sleeping in the house, were missing. Initially, authorities assumed the children had perished in the fire, their remains lost in the flames. But the Sodders weren't convinced. There was something strange about the scene. Despite the intense heat, there were no remains of the children found in the rubble. No bones, no ash. The fire had burned fiercely, but the only signs left behind were the burned timbers and wreckage of the home. The Sodders began questioning their neighbors, friends, and even local authorities. Some suggested the children may have been kidnapped before the fire, a theory which only grew stronger as the investigation unfolded. George, a tough and determined father, began his own investigation into the strange circumstances surrounding the fire. A few key discoveries raised even more questions: an unexplained phone call just hours before the fire, mysterious sightings of a suspicious vehicle near their home, and a cryptic letter that arrived years later, claiming to have information about the children's whereabouts. Over the years, the Sodders pursued the truth relentlessly, even offering a reward for information. But despite the investigation, the mystery remained unsolved. The fate of the 5 missing Sodder children is still one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in America today. In August of 1966, 2 Brazilian men, Miguel José Viana and Manuel Pereira da Cruz, traveled to the mountainous region of Rio de Janeiro. Their bodies were found on a hilltop with no sign of struggle. They were dressed in strange ceremonial lead masks, and nearby investigators discovered a small notebook with an odd, cryptic message. But what had happened to them? Why did they wear the lead masks? And what did the notebook's message mean? The 2 men were experienced engineers, but their deaths were anything but ordinary. They had been missing for several days before their bodies were discovered, leading to speculation about their activities leading up to the tragic event. Were they the victims of a botched scientific experiment? Had they been involved in some kind of ritualistic death? Or was there a more sinister force at play? The mysterious notebook found with the men contained cryptic references to a meeting with a foreign entity and instructions about the lead masks. It seemed as though the men had been attempting to shield themselves from some unknown force or radiation. But what could possibly explain their deaths in such an isolated location, dressed in ceremonial masks and seemingly engaged in some ritual? Some believe it was a case of death by experiment. Others point to a strange and dangerous conspiracy. But the truth of what happened to Miguel José Viana and Manuel Pereira da Cruz remains a haunting enigma. Nestled in the forests of southern Vermont lies a region known as the Bennington Triangle. Over a 5-year period, from 1945 to 1950, 5 people vanished without a trace in this mysterious and remote area. Each disappearance occurred in broad daylight, with no signs of struggle, no trace of the missing person's whereabouts, and no clear explanation for their sudden vanishing. The first person to disappear in the Bennington Triangle was 18-year-old Paula Weldon, a student at Bennington College. She was last seen walking on a trail in the woods, but when search teams combed the area, no trace of Paula could be found. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air. Then, a few months later, another disappearance occurred. A local man named James Tedford, who was traveling on a bus through the area. The bus made a stop, and when it resumed its journey, Tedford was gone, his belongings left behind. No one had seen him leave the bus. Then the disappearances continued. A hunter named Everett Roos, a woman named Frida Langer, and another young man named Charles W. Morrow all vanished without explanation. Each of them was last seen in the same area, a remote stretch of land deep in the woods. The unsettling fact? No evidence was ever found. Was it simply the work of an unknown predator, a mysterious natural force, or something far more terrifying? Some locals claim the area is cursed, while others believe the disappearances are the result of something supernatural, a portal to another world perhaps, or an entity preying on those who wander too far. To this day, the Bennington Triangle remains one of the most eerie and unsolved mysteries of the northeastern United States. The strange disappearances have never been explained, leaving behind only questions and whispers of an ancient, unexplainable force that lingers in the woods. The Sodder Children, the lead masks case, the Bennington Triangle. These mysteries remain unsolved, and their unsettling tales continue to haunt those who seek answers. Were these tragedies the result of foul play, strange rituals, or something far more disturbing? The truth may never be known, but the intrigue they inspire will never fade. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. Until next time, stay curious and never stop seeking the truth.